My brother's prank nearly cost me my life, but it cost him everything instead. I never thought my life would take such a dramatic turn, especially not because of my older brother, Mark. We were never particularly close. He was always the charismatic, popular one, the golden child in our parents' eyes, while I was the quiet, studious younger sibling. Growing up, his pranks were a constant source of torment for me, ranging from hiding my homework to sabotaging my school projects. Our parents, bless their hearts, always brushed it off as boys being boys or Mark just showing his affection. I learned early on that complaining was pointless. It only earned me a lecture about being too sensitive. Fast forward to adulthood. I had managed to escape his shadow, moving several states away for college and then establishing a successful career as a software engineer. I had a comfortable life, a beautiful home, and a wonderful fiancée, Sarah. We were planning our wedding, a joyous event that felt like a million miles away from the childhood trauma Mark inflicted. Mark, on the other hand, hadn't quite found his footing. He bounced from job to job, always struggling financially, and frequently asking our parents for money. He'd call me occasionally, usually when he needed a favor or a loan he never repaid. I always kept him at arm's length, maintaining a polite but distant relationship. The incident that shattered our already fragile connection happened 6 months before my wedding. Sarah and I had decided to host a small engagement party at our new house. We invited close friends and family, including our parents and, reluctantly, Mark. I had a bad feeling about inviting him, a nagging sense of dread that he would find a way to disrupt things, but Sarah, ever the optimist, convinced me that he deserved a chance. "He's your brother," she'd said. "Maybe he's matured." I should have trusted my gut. The party was going well, surprisingly. Mark was on his best behavior, charming everyone with his usual charisma. I even started to relax, thinking maybe, just maybe, he had changed. That's when I made a crucial mistake. I had a rare, vintage bottle of scotch that a client had given me as a thank you gift. It was a prized possession, something I was saving for a very special occasion. I mentioned it to a friend, not realizing Mark was within earshot. He had a particular fondness for expensive alcohol, a taste he certainly couldn't afford. Later that evening, after most of the guests had left, I went to retrieve the scotch from my study, intending to offer a small glass to my future father-in-law, who was still lingering. The bottle was gone. My heart sank. I knew instantly who was responsible. I confronted Mark in the kitchen, where he was nursing a generic beer, looking far too innocent. "Mark, where's the scotch?" I asked, trying to keep my voice even. He feigned surprise. "Scotch? What scotch?" "The vintage bottle, Mark. The one I just got. It was in my study." He chuckled, a sound that always grated on my nerves. "Oh, that. Yeah, I saw it. Looked expensive. Figured you wouldn't mind if I had a swig." My blood ran cold. "You had a swig?" "Mark, that bottle cost thousands of dollars. It was a gift." He shrugged. "Relax, little brother. It's just a drink. What's the big deal?" The big deal, as he so casually put it, was not just the money. It was the complete disregard for my property, for my feelings, for our relationship. It was the same old Mark, thinking he was entitled to anything and everything, with no consequences. But what he said next truly chilled me to the bone. "Anyway," he continued, with a smirk, "I poured some for Sarah too. She seemed to enjoy it." My stomach dropped. Sarah was allergic to a specific ingredient found in many dark liquors, including certain types of scotch. It wasn't a severe, anaphylactic allergy, but it caused severe gastrointestinal distress, migraines, and could land her in the emergency room if she consumed enough. I had explicitly told Mark about it years ago, when he had once tried to get her to drink a shot of tequila at a family gathering. "You gave Sarah scotch?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper, a cold dread spreading through me. "Yeah, why not? She's part of the family now, right? Gotta get her initiated into the finer things." He laughed, completely oblivious to the terror in my eyes. I rushed to find Sarah. She was in the living room, looking pale and clutching her stomach. "Are you all right, darling?" I asked, my heart pounding. She looked up, her eyes wide with pain. "No, I feel terrible. My head is throbbing, and my stomach is in knots. I think I've had a reaction to something." "Did Mark give you a drink?" I asked, already knowing the answer. She nodded weakly. "He offered me some scotch." said it was really good. I only had a small amount, but I started feeling unwell almost immediately. My anger, usually a slow-burning ember, erupted into a roaring inferno. I helped Sarah to the car and raced her to the nearest emergency room. While she was being examined, I called my parents, my voice shaking with rage. I explained what Mark had done, not just the theft of the scotch, but the reckless endangerment of Sarah's health. My mother, predictably, tried to minimize it. "Oh, honey, I'm sure Mark didn't mean any harm. He probably just forgot about Sarah's allergy. You know how he is, a bit forgetful sometimes." Forgetful? I yelled into the phone, barely containing myself. He nearly poisoned my fiancée. Mom, this isn't just forgetfulness, it's malicious negligence. My father, usually the more pragmatic of the two, chimed in. "Now, son, let's not jump to conclusions. Mark might have been a bit tipsy. He wouldn't deliberately hurt anyone." Their unwavering defense of Mark, even in the face of his blatant disregard for Sarah's well-being, infuriated me. It was the same pattern, the same excuse-making that had enabled his destructive behavior for decades. I hung up on them, feeling a profound sense of isolation. Sarah was eventually discharged with medication and strict instructions to rest. The doctor confirmed it was an allergic reaction, thankfully not life-threatening, but definitely severe enough to warrant concern. As I drove her home, she was quiet, tearful, and incredibly shaken. The incident had cast a dark shadow over our engagement, a stark reminder of the toxic presence Mark still held in my life. The next day, I called Mark and told him, in no uncertain terms, that he was no longer welcome at our wedding or in our lives. I told him he was a destructive, selfish individual, and that I was done making excuses for him. He, of course, reacted with feigned outrage and denial, claiming I was overreacting, that Sarah was faking it for attention, and that I was cutting him out of the family over a little misunderstanding. "This isn't a misunderstanding, Mark," I said, my voice cold and firm. "This is the culmination of years of your selfish behavior, your constant need to be the center of attention, and your utter disregard for anyone but yourself. You put Sarah in the hospital. You stole from me. You are a danger to those around you, and I can't have that in my life." He continued to argue, but I simply hung up. I then called our parents and informed them of my decision. My mother started crying, pleading with me to reconsider. My father tried to reason with me, saying it would tear the family apart. The family was already torn apart by his actions. "Dad," I told him, "you just chose to ignore it. Now, you have to choose. Either you respect my decision to protect my future wife, or you choose to enable Mark. But understand this, if you choose Mark, you choose to be absent from my wedding and from my future family's life." There was a stunned silence on the other end of the line. I knew I was playing hardball, but I was at my breaking point. I had to protect Sarah, and I had to protect myself from the endless cycle of Mark's abuse. To my surprise, my father, after a long pause, said, "Son, please reconsider. He's your brother." "He stopped being my brother the moment he knowingly put Sarah in harm's way," I retorted. "The choice is yours." I ended the call, feeling a strange mix of relief and sadness. I knew I had drawn a line in the sand, and there would be consequences. Sarah, bless her heart, was fully supportive. "You did the right thing," she said, holding my hand. "We deserve to be happy, without that kind of toxicity." The weeks that followed were difficult. My mother called repeatedly, alternating between tearful pleas and angry accusations. My father sent me long emails, filled with veiled guilt trips and appeals to family loyalty. I ignored most of them, replying only to reiterate my stance. Mark, surprisingly, went quiet. I figured he was stewing, planning his next move. Then, about 2 months before the wedding, something unexpected happened. I received a certified letter from a law firm. I opened it, my heart pounding, expecting it to be some sort of legal threat from Mark. Instead, it was a summons to testify in a criminal case. Mark had been arrested. It turned out that my vintage scotch wasn't just expensive. It was incredibly rare, part of a limited edition release with specific authentication markers. When Mark had swigged from it, he hadn't just opened it. He had drained a significant portion of the bottle and, in a fit of drunken bravado, tried to sell the remaining contents online. A collector, recognizing the unique bottle and its specific batch number, alerted the authorities. The police had tracked the bottle to Mark, and when they investigated further, They uncovered a much larger scheme. It turned out Mark had been involved in a sophisticated counterfeiting operation, producing fake luxury goods and selling them online. The vintage scotch, though genuine, was a key piece of evidence in connecting him to the wider criminal enterprise. He had been using the proceeds to fund his lavish lifestyle and his gambling addiction, which explained his constant financial struggles. The prank of stealing my scotch had inadvertently led to the unraveling of his entire criminal operation. The news hit our family like a bombshell. My parents were devastated, their carefully constructed image of their golden child shattered. They tried to deny it at first, then tried to find ways to bail him out, but the evidence was overwhelming. Mark was charged with multiple felonies, including fraud, theft, and operating a criminal enterprise. I had to testify at his trial, a harrowing experience that brought back all the painful memories of his past abuses. Seeing him in court, pale and defiant, I felt no pity, only a grim sense of justice. He was convicted and sentenced to a significant prison term. The aftermath was surreal. My parents, finally stripped of their denial, began to see Mark for who he truly was. They were heartbroken, not just by his actions, but by their own complicity in enabling him for so long. They apologized to me, genuinely, for the first time in my life, acknowledging the pain Mark had caused and their failure to protect me. It was a difficult conversation, filled with tears and raw honesty, but it was a necessary step towards healing. Damn, why wedding to Sarah was beautiful, a joyful celebration unmarred by Mark's toxic presence. My parents were there, subdued but supportive, and for the first time, I felt a genuine connection with them, a sense of family that had been missing for so long. Life has a strange way of coming full circle. The prank that nearly ruined my future and put Sarah in danger ultimately led to Mark's downfall. It cost him his freedom, his reputation, and his place in our family. And in an unexpected twist, it opened the door for healing and reconciliation with my parents, allowing me to finally build a healthy, happy life with Sarah. Sometimes, the most destructive forces can inadvertently clear the path for something beautiful to grow.